Hi there, Robin here, and welcome all you creative people to Health and Journal Time. This is where I'm going to be working on my health goals mixing with my art journaling. And this little boy, well, he has something to say. What do you need?
Your spot.
Archie, what's going on? Nope, he wasn't talking about love, he wasn't talking about hugs or feeding. It was, we need to go for exercise. After a while, you get to know these guys really well, and they all have something to say. So when you adopt dogs or have dogs, they really are great for helping you get off your butt and get outside and use them as an excuse to go take care of your body. So in tandem and all, they were previously on leash, and now where there's nobody, and I know they're safe, we can run around without leash. At the end of it all, this huge long walk, well, Dee decided to have a bath. Her name is Vitamin D, and Archie really doesn't like to swim yet. But of course, I followed them wherever they go, and yeah, that's me getting wet too, because what the heck. They're just shoes, they'll dry. And they were really enjoying themselves being in the water and cooling down a little. So this is where I decided to come home and do an art journal. I took reference photos from my iPad, and well, every pet owner has photos of their dogs or cats or whatever, and I used those as references to build up this page. I really wanted to focus on the dogs, and Vitamin D was making this very sexy pose, so I thought this was awesome, and I love the tongue sticking out of Archie as he's just being himself, kind of sticking it out at me and doing something I can't do, or I shouldn't do. Anyway, I'm using my Shaka Shaka graphite pencil. When you shake it, it advances the lead for you. So I use my graphite to lay everything out in my eraser cut up in bits to make sure I get everything all lined up where I want it. And I'm not making this very serious. I just kind of cartoonized the dogs and, well, made it more of a memory for me, not necessarily a memory for you. When you rescue animals, it's so interesting what happens, because although you initially save them, in the end, at least what my experience has been for me, they save me. And they also save me by not only giving me all the love in the world that I could ever ask for, they're also making sure that I stay fit by moving my behind and getting fit. They're giving me an excuse to keep my health organized. Because there's nothing worse than living your life on the couch, or in this case, behind the computer screen, which happens quite a bit. Vitamin D and Archie look at me and I know, you know what? It's time to get off the chair and go for a walk, or go for a run, or play ball if it's raining outside, or do something. And that motivation is one of the best ways to still enjoy moving and using that excuse, because the more you find out that you love animals, the more it somehow shows that you start to love yourself too. It just kind of is a symptom, if you will, of better health. Well, now I've given you my philosophy about having dogs and being a pet owner and using them as a horrible excuse to go exercising. Let's get back to the drawing. I'm using my Shaka Shaka, and my Shaka Shaka has that green portion, and that green portion is a super gel. It's very gushy. So I usually am one of those people that has a death grip on their pen. And well, I have had calluses on my fingers because I have such a death grip. And I have found that this particular company, the Unigel, the Alpha Unigel, has stopped me from having those really tough calluses. I'll be showing you that I'm using the Keto watercolor pencils. They're a pencil that I can get in this area here in Ecuador. And I'm using that to block in some of the color and the shadow, and I use it basically as the foundation color for all I'm going to do here. Using the watercolor is a good way to build the color from the bottom up. And from there, he has whites in his hair, and he also has these oranges and darker blondes and reds in his hair. So using the watercolor pencils helps to create that illusion of whiteness that's still in his fur, and then build up using all the different things available. Now, I don't necessarily use I wash away all the lines. I use some of those lines to build texture as well. You may notice on that table, my water brushes don't look, well, familiar. They do, but they don't. Portions of them do and don't. What they are is Franken pens. I've taken old brushes that I thought were no good, and I took the barrels off of some old dead water brushes because for me, I'm really hard on the water brushes, and they have different, I find that their bristles are a little bit, they fan out really easily for me. So I must have a death grip on them too. So I use different pen tips or brush tips from other situations. And if you want to find out about how to DIY or customize your brush pens, you can go and find it on my list. My YouTube list, that is. And I have a section on how to hack your water brushes. It's a really good one to watch, and it really is great for recycling because that's a lot of plastic that can be recycled or reused for yourself. I think this is a Kurotake brush tip. If you go again to that video, you'll find out which one I used exactly. I love it. I love the customizing, and they work super, super well. So now I've got both dogs kind of blocked out. I decided that, isn't it cool that, yeah, I should put my own feet in there because this is what they're doing to me. They're motivating me in my journey of keeping healthy and watching my lifestyle get better. And yeah, and you did see them in the video. My little feet were just as wet as one of the dogs was. So yeah, I'm participating within my own journal. And for me, that's important. That's a part of my story. It's a part of showing how little the dogs are, but also that I'm a part of their life and they're a part of my life. And we're walking together because they're my best workout buddies. So I'm not worried about smearing any of the other colors together. I'm more worried about making the idea for me more impactful, so I can go back later on and go, yep, I didn't want to go for a walk today, but because I did, because of the dogs, I can be thankful. This is a reminder for myself to be thankful for the animals that I do have. So I'm playing again with my socks that are always falling down, and I always seem to have one sock up and one sock down. Why is that? And yes, I am really, really pale. So those colors kind of work for my little white legs. It's embarrassing, but that's pretty much how I look. I'm not overly concerned here about being really perfect with the dogs. I'm more concerned about getting the idea across. And I'm really happy overall. I think I would change it up a little bit more if I were to do a fine painting of this. But again, this is playful. This is for me. This is for fun in my journal. And it's a part of growing and learning. This is a test. I only took a few minutes to make this. And I did it, again, to be a journal. It's not a big, perfect painting. This is for fun. And remember, art is about fun. I'm remembering to put the highlights in their eyes because for me, when I see those beautiful little eyes, I always see how shiny and sweet they are. I used some colored pens. Now, I don't think these are gel pens. These are just regular ink pens that you can buy in the dollar store or whatever. Here I have to go to a stationery or papeleria to get these pens. But they added, some better fur quality, and I wanted to play. This is about playing, and I wanted to see what these pens would do if I put them in a painting. It was a lot of fun. It was really interesting to see just a little bit how sometimes it could show maybe how, I don't know, orange his hair gets in the right light. So this is Archie staring at me, giving me that little wink, we got to get out of here kind of thing. I hope you enjoyed it. I had fun making this. I hope you do it too.
So remember to subscribe and hit the bell icon to be notified when I post more of these kind of fun things with hacks, tips, tricks, and paintings.